What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us out here today on the VSO Gun Channel. I've got something very interesting to show you guys. This is the NERO 5.56, and as you guys can see, it's a very unique looking piece of muzzle equipment compatible with the AR-15 or the AR style rifle. And this thing is designed from the ground up to eliminate and equalize that muzzle climb that you experience when you discharge your firearm. This thing is all 3D printed out of Inconel, and that allows them to do some very interesting stuff inside this brake. And because of that, I've got a whole bunch of testing designed for this thing to see what it can do. And that means this video is going to be very heavy on the testing, so we're going to hop right into this thing and get going. As previously mentioned, the Walker NERO 5.56 is an Inconel muzzle device produced through additive manufacturing. This process allows for geometric combinations that would otherwise be prohibitively expensive or impossible through traditional manufacturing means. The purpose of this device is to maximally reduce the muzzle climb associated with firearms discharge, particularly for applications using modern 5.56 caliber carbines during sustained periods of fire. To cut to the chase and evaluate how well this device accomplishes this goal, we constructed an apparatus to suspend the test firearm from its fulcrum point right over the mag well, allowing it to balance with no external forces present but its own mass. For this, we tested the NERO against a standard A2 birdcage and a flash hider. Through this test, we can see an appreciable reduction in the overall muzzle flip compared to the other devices. The theory is that the device diverts the gas into the front baffle, driving the muzzle down and away from the shooter as the bullet passes through the muzzle port, then vents the excess expanding gas out of the parallel slots in the sides, further compensating for the inherent rise of the muzzle. So you may ask, how does this affect the rest of the blast characteristics of the device? First, we tested the blast diversion from the prone position to determine if it would kick up a bunch of material present on the ground. We found this test to be inconclusive, as all of the devices seem to react the same to our play sand mock-up, but this is as good as it gets during monsoon season here in Ohio. However, we did notice that very little material was disturbed from in front of the muzzle. Shooting a few inches from a cardboard target and then again at point blank confirms this, especially relative to an open comp. One thing I will say is that the lateral blast of the device is quite appreciable, as you can expect by looking at the design and imagining how the gases would vent. Of course, the next most logical question is, how does it do at night? After we got under the IR, we tried it against several different devices and found that for the most part, it performed a little worse than a flash hider, but a little bit better than a full compensator. Given the increasing popularity of frangible ammunition these days, we also performed some quick tests to determine if the comp was compatible with frange, and we found no issues. So what I got going on here is the NERO 5.56 on the Stag 15 Valkyrie. You guys might have seen a video on this gun previously, but when I think of 224 Valkyrie, what I think of is take the 224 projectile and what can we do maximally with it before we need to move to a 6mm projectile. And since this is a 5.56 brake, I wanted to see what is the max capacity look like on this thing. So if we take it outside the realm of anything that it was ever going to experience, how does it work on like the max cartridge potential? And that's what we're going to do right now. So I've got this thing loaded with some 90 grain, and I'm going to feel how the recoil impulse on this thing looks like before we go dark. You guys see that? That was pretty impressive. No recoil whatsoever. And I think what we're gonna do now before we go dark is I'm gonna go ahead and over there and throw this thing in the sled on the Valkyrie and see what we look like as far as like muzzle climb and all that sort of stuff is concerned. And this is where the NERO really showed its full capacity, significantly taming the Valkyrie relative to the A2. To wrap this up, we're going to throw this thing back on the SBR and meet up with Wombat at the dynamics range to determine how practical it is in a multi-target environment. Wombat in the house.
Ayo.
What do we got going on here?
We have the NERO 556 muzzle brake there, and what we're looking to do is see how it performs as far as mitigating muzzle climb. It's designed with a channel cut into the roof of the muzzle brake so that those expanding gases are directed downward and would mitigate muzzle climb when you're doing some faster shooting. So we've set up a course here with a little bit of a mix where we'll incorporate some double taps and things like that, try to see how well that performs as far as muzzle climb.
Sounds good, man. Are you ready?
Sure.
Wait! That's a tiny target. Got it. Got it. I was about to say, I didn't hear so many tings on that one.
Not so many, and I can tell you exactly why.
Why?
After I take all this crap off, it deflects the muzzle down.
You think so?
And it's counterintuitive because I'm wanting to drop that gun back with a regular muzzle brake. This drops it down. If I would just slow down, it would bring it right back up.
Okay, so it has a negative inflection.
It does it.
So it has a really, really efficient negative press. That's pretty good.
It does what they said it's gonna do.
Yeah.
It was so counterintuitive for me because I'm actually, you can see they're in the dirt, and that's because I'm dropping it down, and just in my head, I'm used to shooting targets at this range. It's almost automatic for me to just make that slight adjustment on the weapon, and I'm doing it and I don't need to.
Yeah. So,
the muzzle's already in the dirt.
Really what it is you are deflecting the muzzle down because it is canceling it for you.
Yeah.
So sweet. Well, I don't think we can get any better endorsement than that. That's pretty sweet.
It did it. It legit did.
Sweet. All right, bro.
Bones it. Your jigamabob is all wobbly.
Yeah, but I was trying to see how it does, and on rapid fire,
it does it.
It does it. It definitely does it.
It takes like getting used to that because I've never shot anything that does that. That hemlock though.